Do you have questions about buying or selling a home, not sure if you're qualified? Your local real estate agent Antoinette Ware is here for you. Do you live out of town, moving out of town, or looking for investment property? Well, let's work together and make it happen. Antoinette Ware can be reached at 419-917-6258. The name you know, celebrating over 20 years, serving Toledo and surrounding areas. Frida's Cleaning Service is a small family-owned business established in 2003. With over 17 years of professional, high-quality, and greatly satisfied service, the Frida's Cleaning Service will get the job done. Specializing in sanitizing your home, business, post-construction, and commercial cleaning, no job's too big or small. See for yourself and give us a call, 567-249-9172. La Frida's Cleaning Service. Our reputation is always spotless.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hi, this is TV comedy impressionist Christopher G from the other side of the pond saying hi, and I love the Queen Silvy show.
Welcome to the Queen Silvy Show. Tune in at 11, good laugh, good vibe, that's for sure. Get smooth with Tim, get smooth with Tim. They have you rolling like you popped the pill. Once you hear the show, you ain't gonna want it to end. Get creative with the sounds you can make with your mouth. Reaching all over the world, Queen Silvy in the house. Award-winning show, got the #1 spot, look out. It's the Queen Silvy Show, it's the Queen Silvy Show, it's the Queen Silvy Show, it's the Queen Silvy Show.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, it's time for the silky smooth sounds of Smooth Tim and Her Majesty herself, Queen Silvy.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim, and thanks for dropping by and spending another terrific Tuesday with us on the multiple award-winning Queen Silvy Show. Speaking of the Queen, it is now my absolute pleasure to bring her to you, the Queen herself, Her Majesty the Queen.
Yes, that's correct. For it is me, Queen Silvy. On this terrific Tuesday, the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. Yeah. Oh, I love saying my name and getting that going. Let me try it again. The Queen. Yeah, keep it on, keep it on. Good morning, good afternoon, and
Hope
good
those
evening.
guys are getting paid.
Yeah, you know, sometimes they do it just because.
Okay.
But good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this great world today. I am Queen Silvy, as he said. I hope you are ready for the super greatness that we have in store for you, right? How are you, Smooth?
I'm doing terrific on this Tuesday, Queen. How are you doing, as a matter of fact?
As always, I'm supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious, I suppose, is 24/7, 365. Queen Silvy, you are always simply.
I know. Amazing. Woo, slap yourself.
Okay.
Because I am amazing. Woo. But you are amazing. Smooth, you are amazing. And we have an amazing guest today. And a few announcements, yes?
You know, absolutely. We have on our, as a guest today, an entrepreneur. He is also a podcast host, imparting to his audience what he's learned through his trials and errors and going to make you a smarter person, Mr. Jesse Blount.
Yes, what's up?
So we'll see what's up here a little bit later. Otherwise, as always, hearts and prayers are going out around the world. Hey, we just wish everybody would practice a little bit of peace, and also if they would practice a little bit of faith over fear.
That's right.
Amen. Otherwise, that wraps it up.
Well, thank you very much, Smooth. I hope you're ready for the super greatness that we have in store for you. But before we get into that super greatness, what I'd like to do at this moment is, I'd like to share some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. You know, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And know that everything you do now is for your future. See, your time is limited, so don't waste your time living someone else's life. And don't set yourself up to be limited by other people's limited imaginations. That's right. Stay in your own lane. And soar, baby, soar. That's right. And those are some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. That's right, and that is right. But you know, while we getting it going, while my audience is doing, why don't I continue and give some shout outs to my friends, my good deserving kings and queens all over, like you, Pepper Gomez, at Wake Up Music Rocks, Holistic Health Advocate Marva Riley, Marie McKenzie and the International Sexual Assault Recovery Institute, Carmen Jewel and Massage Therapy by Carmen, Simone Enterprise and Entertainment Company, and the Simone Family Foundation. A Journey Through Healing with Beatrice Crawford Daniels.
Shout out to you.
Kenzie Patino, Queen Jenna, Queen Ashley, Follette Clark, and Kenneth Rawls.
Shout out to you.
To Helen Myers, Peace Myers, Corey and Casey Patino, and Joan Mercer.
Shout out to you.
To Queen Aaliyah, Asia, Tay, Maya, Camille, and Dejour.
Shout out to you.
To my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren.
Shout out to you.
Jonathan Easley, Lee Allen Sr., Wade and Katrina, LP and Cynthia, Melvin and Teresa, Kaki and Mike.
Shout out to you.
To Queen Sonia, Kaki, Shanika, Alana, Brianna, and Precious.
Shout out to you.
To Nancy, Delia, and Chrissy from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yippee-ow.
What?
Yippee-ow.
Okay. To Ryan and All American Boys, Matt and Tracy, and the All American Girls. Oi.
Shout out to you.
I think I need to pause for the calls and clear my throat. One moment, please.
Woof, woof. Meow. Ribbit, ribbit.
It gets me every time, that ribbit part. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't? Well, don't knock it until you try it. To Pamela Anderson, C. Shorty Franklin, Patricia Wilhelm McGiffin, Renita Easley, Gold Rosa, Donna Ferry, and Pam Bailey.
Shout out to you.
To my good friends in Africa, Amy Kanima, Websterito Hostile Flow, Hero Boy, and Princess Irialua.
Shout out to you.
Sabrina Williams, Pinky Herman, Sassy Savage, Robin Taylor, DJ Team Broke, 100.
Shout out to you.
To my good friends in United Kingdom, Beth Lambert, Nicola Jones, Bethany Jones, and Kay Cross.
Top of the day, mate. Top of the day, mate.
To Lorenzo Gabaniza, Christine Lewis Anderson, James and Audrey, Serious Edition, and Nana Linda Hartley.
Shout out to you.
To Edith Verhoek, Queen D. Brown, Sandra Ben Johnson, Melody Gorb Dobbs, Brian Pearson, Brenda Ramirez, and my good friend, Joe Mass.
Shout out to you.
That's right. Hey, listen, if you would love to be shouted out, if you have someone you would love for us to represent and shout out, we will hook you up 3 days a week. Every Tuesday with the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. Every Wednesday with Tim's Tidbits. and every Thursday with the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim, as we bring the best in live entertainment, talents, topics, and resources from around the world just for you. Check out this resource. And when we get back, hey, the ball is rolling with the super greatness we have in store for you on the Queen Silvy Show.
What's going on? This is Wacko Willie down at Weapons World and Ammo Unlimited, telling you to listen to the Queen Silvy Show. Yeah, if you come in and mention the Queen Silvy Show this weekend, we'll throw in 3 high-capacity clips with your new assault weapon. That's right, 3 high-capacity clips. You're going to love it. Shoot. Anyhow, don't forget, Wacko Willie tells you, Weapons World and Ammo Unlimited loves the Queen Silvy Show.
And all right.
Hey, we are back on this terrific Tuesday. As I said before, you do have time to be kind and spread the word for someone else to come on in and get the super greatness we have in store for you. Sharing his story of personal entrepreneur failures, how he overcame the many challenges and reached a successful growth mindset with a mission in life. Currently, he's helping new entrepreneurs on what they need most to succeed in their business journey while positively paving the way as a podcast host of Undiscovered Entrepreneurs. Get across the start line. Live, I introduce to you Jesse Blount. Did I say that correctly?
What a great introduction. Holy cow, I hope I live up to the standard. That's
please, that's just the tip of the iceberg with you, and you know it. Come on, you know it. I appreciate you taking the time being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an absolute blast. I can't wait to help as many people as possible. Than any of your listeners, anybody that's on this.
Well, I hope that
let's do it.
I hope that your listeners find out something they didn't know about you right here on the show, because, well, everyone knows it, except for some of our audiences, that you're born Jesse, but you're known as Scooby. Where did the name come from?
Well, that's kind of a story, because I could do the perfect Scooby-Doo voice and laugh, and I kind of interact it and kind of in everything I do. It's kind of became part of my branding, so I can go, bro.
You need to hit the stage. That was pretty good. And, you know, when I saw Scooby, I thought of Scooby-Doo, but I was correct on that. That's what's up. So let's begin with you, Jesse. You know, for almost 2 decades, you worked in sales and marketing. What exactly did you love, and what exactly did you even do?
Well, most of that was actually, believe it or not, car sales.
Oh.
So the one thing that I learned is how to take rejection, because there's a lot of rejection in car sales. But I also learned how to be able to talk to people, understand what their needs are, what their problems are, and why they're even looking for this particular product. And I kind of integrated into everything else that I've done now, and, you know, kept that knowledge with me. But now I'm using kind of in a different way, something that's more in my zone of genius now than ever before. And that's helping new entrepreneurs get started, because it's so hard to get started. Getting across the start line is probably one of the most difficult things that you could actually do, because that's the very first step.
Yep.
And we all experience that fear in that very first step. So my job is to get you over that first step and get you across the 4 hurdles of stop.
I love the title of your podcast, by the way, and you are an entrepreneur and a podcast host. We'll talk about that podcast in a moment. But, you know, in becoming an entrepreneur, you have to be bold. You have to accept that you're taking a risk, and the outcome might not be what you want it to be. It could also be possibly hazardous, depending on what it is. But for you, Jesse, now back in COVID days, after the COVID pandemic, you started your own karaoke DJ business. Take me back to that time, you know, and of your life, and tell me what made you do this decision, and exactly how did that come out?
Not 100% well, obviously, but I'm actually glad I went through that, because it's very important to understand that even if you're taking a first step and it's not actually the thing you're going to actually end up with, it's still a step somewhere. And that's where I kind of started too. I wanted to be a karaoke DJ and a music DJ, but I had no equipment. I had no money. I didn't have a microphone. I had nothing. I had a piece of paper I was writing goals down on. That was it. So I was like, okay, how am I going to get this done? So I decided, okay, I'm going to start a GoFundMe page and people just give me money. That didn't happen.
Wow.
right? I only got a couple $100s in a couple months, and that was my mom just giving me a couple dollars to make, kind of move me along and be mom. That's what they do, right?
Right.
So I was like, instead of throwing my hands up in the air saying, okay, this wasn't meant for me, or I'm just going to be done with it. Instead, I said, okay, why didn't this work? Why didn't this actually go the way I had planned it? So I started doing research in crowdfunding. And in that research, I found podcasting. I listened to this. I don't read my books. I listen to my books because that's how I work.
Well, that's okay.
So I heard this in a book. If you start a podcast, then people will follow you. And then when people start following you, then do the crowdfunding. I was like, okay, I could start a podcast, but what am I going to talk about? Well, I'm a new entrepreneur. Why don't I just talk to new entrepreneurs and get their stories and their accomplishments and goals? And then I'll follow up with them 6 months later to see if they've actually made those goals and accomplishments. So I put the karaoke thing aside just temporarily. I still want to do it, but I put it aside temporarily and started podcasting. I loved talking to so many amazing people around the world that I just kind of kept with it, and I kept going with it. And now I've been on for 4 years, up to 220 episodes, and I've talked with people all over the world, and it's just been a fantastic experience ever since.
That is so outstanding. And you're one of the lucky ones. You have a good brain, good head on your shoulder, because a lot of people go into trying to start a business, especially during the pandemic time when a lot of people lost businesses and things like that. But some go the wrong path. They'll get depressed, they get frustrated, they give up from trying. And I always tell people, whenever you do anything in life, if you have a backup plan, that helps save you from a lot of stress of when something doesn't go right. You have something to keep you going. Another backup plan on all of that. Me personally, I view challenges as opportunities for growth. I'm like, bring it. You think I'm not going to take it up? Bring it. And I also view the setbacks, the failures, as valuable lessons like you did. You learn from that and you move on. You take that as energy to help fuel you to succeed in whatever else you do. So I appreciate that. But, when you did this, all of this DJ business, GoFundMe and things, what lessons did you walk away from with that experience?
The lessons I kind of took away from that was not to get down because it didn't work exactly the way you've planned.
Right.
It's understanding that it's all part of the process. It's all the payment that we have to do to get where we're going to go. And that's when I started learning my first book that I actually read or listened to, in the case may be, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Now, if you've never read that book, this is a fantastic book to make you understand that our love and abundance can be raised consistently as long as we take the information that we've taken in and use that to our advantage for the next thing that we're going to do, for the next idea we're going to have, and not just be the one where I throw my hands up in the air and say, I'm done with this, I'm not going to do it. No, that's not the way to handle this. The way to handle this is what we've learned from this, what we learned from the situations and the negativity that's happened to us, and analyze it and use that information that we got from for the next thing that we're going to do.
That's right.
And that we can raise our love and abundance in our lives exponentially. That's not even a word, but that's okay. Exponentially, I think is what I was trying to say.
You got it.
But we can do that if we let ourselves do that. It's really important to understand we can raise the roof on our love and abundance in our lives.
Absolutely. I want to say that anybody can change. You can grow as long as you apply yourselves. And we're talking about, work, job, but this whole thing goes into anything in our life. Marriage, your marriage didn't fail, didn't succeed, and you learn from that and you move on. And some people do say, well, I'm never going to get married again because of that failure, and totally giving up on just who you are, what you're about, your mindset, what you're worth. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only saying this because I'm on marriage 4. So believe me, I know. I have a book coming out. Don't worry about it. It's coming out. But now with you, Jesse, of all of this that you were getting through, is starting the podcast the way that you moved through all those challenges? Is that what led up to the successful podcast?
Yes, and I actually started my podcast 2 times. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I had another podcast called The Untitled Entrepreneur.
No, I didn't.
I got 6 episodes into that, and I was like, this isn't working. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't seem right. What am I doing wrong? And I realized that, first of all, the title was Untitled. So it's like, okay, what's that really mean? So But then I realized that I had to make some changes. But the information that I got from that first podcast, the knowledge and the experience and how to work the editing and how to work the Zooms and things like that, gave me the experience to move on to the next level of what I'm doing now, which is the Undiscovered Entrepreneur-Get across the start line. And the information that I learned from the people that I interviewed, I was able to take on to the next thing, come up with new ideas, come up with new questions and mannerisms of how to do my podcast. And it's been growing ever since.
Oh yes, I've checked it out. It's a very good. I love the title, but then we go past the title and check the contents out, and the information and the resources that's provided is outstanding. So I know that you're onto something. I don't want you to change what you're doing right now, because I think through the trials and errors you found your nook. You found just what's going to make a difference, not just for you, but you're making a difference for people worldwide who need this, especially now. I don't do politics on my show. That's Tim's show on Wednesdays. But because of the way politics is in this world, everybody can benefit from helping themselves a little bit more than just where you work at, because those jobs are not guaranteed. They're just not. There's so many people in the government now that's losing their jobs, but you need to know how to pick yourself up. Smooth is over here going off. Go on, Smooth.
No, what I was going to say, failure is a good thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That, because you're going to step back and you're going to analyze, what did I do wrong? Where was I going wrong in either my subject matter and or my marketing? Somewhere I failed. And so when you step back and you reevaluate that, then you can keep taking those steps ahead. You may take a step back to take 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's just the way it is. And anybody in the business, you need first to be able to present your product as a need. These people, you need this, and you can't live without this. It's a necessity in your life. And or when they come to you, you got to be able to identify why did they come to me in the first place, and be able to key off of that, right?
Yeah, using that information is super important when you're doing that, because you got to understand why people are coming to you. When
Absolutely.
you harness that information from these people, you could then use it to your advantage. And something I want to really mention too, fail is one of my 4 hurdles to stop, but there's always something I always listen to. I always talk to myself when I talk about failure. FAIL, first attempt in learning. A lot of times when we're doing this, it's the first time we're doing it. So of course there's room for failure. You've never done it before. So make sure that you have the mentality, this is the first time. So if it doesn't work out, there's a reason it didn't work out, but it's not going to be a failure per se, but it's going to be that learning. I think you talked about this a little bit earlier. It's going to be that learning experience that we need to carry on to the next thing that we're going to do.
Well, that's how we grow.
That's right.
That's the only way you're going to grow is through failure.
That's right.
I'm sorry, folks. That's just life.
You mentioned 4 things, and you didn't even mention it, but in looking back and moving forward positively, what 3 characteristics do you credit your success in both personal and professional life?
Well, that's a good question. Okay, thank you for that question. The other 3 things that kind of pushed me forward was mentors. Having people, not necessarily paying them, but finding the people that's going to help you push forward, whether you shake their hand and say thank you very much, or you watch their content, or you follow them anywhere. I follow 2 main people named Pat Flynn, who is a very accomplished entrepreneur and podcaster, and Cliff Ravenscraft, who is a motivational speaker, and he also had a podcast too. And getting into contact with these 2 individuals, whether it be through content on YouTube or podcasts, or actually talking to them physically. I've actually had both of them on my podcast recently. Will make the difference in you having something to look up to, not necessarily copying what they're doing, but taking the best things that you have, incorporating it into yourself and making it your own.
Absolutely. I agree.
It makes a big difference.
I agree with you totally. And you want to be mentored or follow or get an example from someone who's not selfish, because, Smooth and myself was in Texas doing radio for 7, 8 years before we were up north now. And that's exactly what we did. Everyone in the network, we're all a team. So we all learn from each other. Once a month, we would meet up and and do things. It's what you do. You uplift. Iron sharpens iron. That's my favorite saying right there. Smooth, did you have something?
No. You're 100% correct.
Yeah. And so what you're doing, listen, you're just not blessing yourself, but you're blessing everyone who crossed your path, and vice versa, because we all are in this to win this. We're all in this to succeed. We're all in this to stay above water, or as I usually say, stable. If you can just stay stable, you can go and make it anywhere else. But currently, you're helping entrepreneurs on what they need to succeed in their entrepreneur venture. In your podcast, Undiscovered Entrepreneur-Get across the start line. Tell me about the podcast. Who's some of the guests? Give me an idea of some of the businesses, the entrepreneurs that come through your platform.
I've had so many amazing entrepreneurs, some that I didn't even know was a business to begin with. One of my favorite ones was a beekeeper, and I had he was a 5th generation beekeeper that just recently got handed over this beekeeping company. He was amazing. Dragos was his name. He was in the UK. I also got a hypnotherapist. He was amazing. Robert was awesome. He was just, his mind was just fantastic, and he really had a knack for what he was doing. And being able to talk to somebody in that field was fantastic. My very first interview was a professional organizer, and I didn't even know that was a thing. Until she actually described it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that." But it's like at first I was like, "Professional organizer, what's that about?" So I learned so many things from so many different aspects of business that most people wouldn't even think about. And being able to take that information and use it for my own experiences, for my own learning, was just fantastic.
I understand totally that whole concept of what you just said, because that's how it is. And it's a great thing to connect. That's what social media, the new era, is all about, the connection that we're able to do. It's not just video games out here. You know what I mean? There's other ways of connecting and using the services.
I have another quick question, and I think it was interesting that you said you had interviewed this gentleman who was a hypnotherapist, and how how that is truly, honestly applicable to your advertising. If you really think about it, is the influx of advertising, and they're actually hypnotizing you. You can finish, the best part of waking up is
Folgers in your cup.
Yes, right.
Go.
That's right.
There you go.
Point taken, right?
Right. And you're right. We do learn from a lot of guests that we have on the show. We've had a hypnotist from California.
Right. Yeah, we talk about and applying it in business, and why you can continuously flood advertise with who is, Jesse Blount. And people are just...
They're going to go Scooby-Doo.
They're inducted with you. And so you become, an everyday thing, and they're going to tune in sooner or later.
That's right. But, Jesse, keep doing it. I'm proud of you. I'm honored to meet you and have you on this show. I love what you're doing. But, aside from passion with a purpose, because we all have to have that passion and that purpose, what actually drives you most as an entrepreneur? What keeps you going? Because you can quit at any time if you want.
True, because I do have a lot of things that I do on the daily, but the one thing that really drives me is the thought that somebody out there in the 7 or 8 billion people that's on this planet needs to hear my voice say a specific thing to change their life. So it's really important for me to keep going, if not just for the people that actually listen, but for that one person that I can help and make a difference in their life. And that's what keeps me going. My whole life, I've been helping other people. I was an Eagle Scout. I was a little boy that would hold open the door for the people that walk through. I'd be that Boy Scout that would help the old lady cross the street. I was always like this in my whole life. So now I'm taking it basically to the next level, and I want to be able to be that person that will help you get across the start line, to make a difference, not just for you, but for your family, for the people around you. And then what happens when they change somebody's life, then whatever they learned, they will help somebody else out with, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how you make a difference. You make a difference in one person's life. You don't just make a difference in one person's life. No, you touch the lives of their life, then you touch the person that they touch, and so on and so on.
It's that network that you built out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about that network you built out.
It sure is, because I'm going to tell you, I, before radio, was traveling doing stand-up comedy, and that is my theory. Before I hit the stage, I love a heckler, by the way. You can bring it on if you want to try me, but I have that theory. If you make just one person laugh, if you can make the difference of one person, you don't know what someone's mindset or how their day was when they walk in to a comedy club. But if you can make that one person, that one difference in that one person, you've done your job. And I see where you're coming from on that. But now, Jesse, from your experience, your research, years of talking to hundreds of entrepreneurs, I want you to school some listeners out there and share any practical strategies that you use to protect your brain health, because that is so important.
So there's a couple ways to do that. What I like to talk about is your actual physical brain health, because without a clear brain, without a working brain, we're not going to come up with the ideas. We're not going to be quick to make decisions and things like that. So a couple quick things, being able to have a quick thinking brain. There's certain things that you can eat or kind of things that you can take to help things stay clear in your head. Personally, I'm a big fan of blueberries. Blueberries or anything that has an edible skin on it is going to increase your gray matter in your brain, which will clean up the roadways for your synapses. I know it's a little technical, sorry. For your synapses to fire to come up with better ideas. It's important to keep ourselves educated, because that grows new synapses in our brains. That's not just for those new things that we learn, but for other things to work and in different ways and faster ways, to keep our head clear. So when we come up with ideas, we know to implement them. We don't forget them so often. We don't forget where we leave our keys. I don't know. And it really depends on how it works out.
Right.
But there are other ways that we can keep our brain working properly and clearly, so we can be the most effective entrepreneur that we can be.
Absolutely. Entrepreneur. And how about just a person in general? Because, that is the fundamentals for brain function, and that's important. And you hit it on the nail, but it's the diet, the exercise, the sleep. It all partakes. You have to make yourself a priority, because you're speaking of brain fog. It's because a lot of people like, oh my God, I don't know what, and sometimes it's a combination of things that you're not doing or that you should be doing to make it whole, of yourself being a person, and then of yourself wanting to continue forward and to succeed. But is it true? It's true that, we can be adventurous every day. Yes, we can in our life, but it's our mindset and what we believe is possible. So for that fresh entrepreneur out there, Jesse, that's dealing with the doubt and or imperfectionism, what strategies would you suggest in boosting one's confidence while embracing imperfection?
Well, there's two different ways to think about perfection. There's perfectionism and perfection. Perfectionism is when you're trying to put something out there and you keep tweaking it and you keep moving it, and you can, this doesn't sound as perfect, but you end up to the point where you're not putting anything out at all. That's perfectionism. It's kind of like you're being a coward, if you really think about it, because you don't want to put it out there because you're afraid of what people are going to say or going to do. But perfection, that's the thing that we try to achieve that makes the products, and we don't just put it out there though. We get information from other people. What do you think? Okay, that's good. Let me do this. Okay, now let me put it out there and see what people say about it. Okay, now I'm getting feedback from it. I could tweak it this way. So instead of just guessing what people want and trying to make it perfect before you even put anything out there, get the information from the people themselves, so you're going the right way, going the right process, and that kind of thing. Perfectionism can stifle us. It will stop us. But if we can get over perfectionism and just take your smallest viable product and start getting information from it that way, it really makes the biggest difference on the product that we're going to be putting out there finally.
Absolutely. And you make it sound easy, because I know there's some out there confused, like I just can't. And sometimes their failure that they've experienced hinders them and causes that doubt, But, when it comes to perfectionism, how do we distinguish between high standards and unrealistic expectations?
By setting a time limit for yourself of putting something out there, and if you kind of go over that time limit, you got to understand that you're being too perfect. That's kind of what you're thinking about, because I'm tweaking, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I haven't put anything out there yet. if you say, okay, no matter where I'm at on this, when this time comes, I'm going to put it out there and start getting information. And it's a hump. It's a very hard hurdle to get over, putting something out there that you think in your mind is not going to be perfect. But it's a fear that we can get over. It's not a saber-toothed tiger that's going to bite you in the butt.
Right.
It's just something that's going to happen. I call that fear false evidence appearing real. This isn't something that's real that's going to hurt you physically. It's just something that we have to get over to be able to get on to the next event, to our next part of our adventure.
Yes, that's your acronym for fear. Say it again
Correct.
for me, if you will. Repeat it again for me, if you will.
Oh, sure. FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah.
So listen, in your opinion, Jesse, why do you think that most entrepreneurs and business startups fail? You've experienced it. What do you think is the reason why a lot of them fail when they start?
They fail because they can't get over the fear. I think that's one of the biggest things. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones out there, but the one that's most prevalent to me from my experience of talking to entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs and seasoned entrepreneurs alike, is they're scared to put something out there and they don't put it out there and they realize it was a mistake not to put it out there. Instead of getting the information they need to make it succeed, they would just guess and put it out there, and it fails because they don't know what their customers are thinking. They're not in the right.
Well, you know, what about those that try, and then you have, sometimes it can be within your own clique, your family, friends. Somebody want to hate on you, want to tell you, you ain't going to succeed, you're not going to do it, you can't do it. And that messes with the person's mindset, and that causes just what you said, the doubt and the fear in the situation. But have you ever encountered someone who, you know, gave you a little bit of negativity, a little doubt, a little criticism or hate? If so, how did you handle that?
So I'll tell you a little bit of story on that. A lot of my family, as it were, immediate family, they would always tell me I wasn't smart enough to do something. I wasn't capable of doing anything. I'm not smart enough. And it was really stifling because I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to explore. But I always get, well, that's been done already. Or what makes you different? And because of a lot of that, I experience a lot of imposter syndrome, which is one of my hurdles.
Right.
But imposter syndrome is probably the one hurdle that hurt me the most. It's the one thing that really stifled me from starting anything because I didn't realize that I was smart enough, that I was capable, that I can work the technology or anything. That was one of my biggest hurdles too, was the technology, and trying to get over the fact that I can actually do what I'm doing now. So even though there are people out there that will say you're not good enough, you are good enough.
Right.
You are worthy of putting something together for other people. Somebody out there needs to hear your voice. Don't deny them that opportunity.
Absolutely. You are so on point. Oh my goodness. Smooth, did you have anything?
No, I was going to say one of the things that I've thought is, and I've had several different types of businesses, but you need to be a really good listener. And yeah, your failures, and you're going to fail a lot, but you need to listen to what's being said when it's a failure. Maybe we weren't happy with the product because it didn't do X, Y, Z, or we expected it to do this and it didn't do that, or it cost a little bit more to maintain than I had thought that it would, whatever the case may be. So I think your listening skills plays a whole lot of importance in being able to, again, market your product.
Absolutely. Communication is a big key in it as well. If you don't know, ask. And I say this to all the young kids out here, you know. It's just some of them think they know it all. Oh, I know how to work the iPhone 17, but you don't know how to live, how to succeed, how to get above water and stay that way. And some of them have pride where they don't want to ask, don't want nobody to know that you don't know something. In the business field especially, it is important to ask. Okay, research is another good thing, but you have to also keep the communication very open. It's a big part, and today's technology makes it where you can communicate many ways. So there's no excuse on why I couldn't say anything. If you can't say it to me, text me, call me, email, all kinds of ways. So I think it's very important.
Again, real quickly, we're in the podcast business. I'm sure you're on many different podcast sites. You're listening to what these people are saying, what they're doing, watching and how they're marketing. So again, what Queen said earlier is iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
You learn from one another.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the listening is almost as important as the question is, because if
That's
you're not
well
listening
said.
to the answer of the question, then why even
Absolutely.
ask the question to begin with?
Right.
So it's important to know the right question, but it's also important to listen to the answer when you
Absolutely.
ask the question.
I totally
so I love
agree.
that. That's awesome.
Two-way street here. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking the questions and I want to succeed. I want to know the answer. So you listen. And it might not be what you want to hear. You know, it might not be what you thought you were going to hear, but there's your answer. Take it from there. And don't judge me.
That's right. I want to touch on something Smooth said just a second ago, too. Don't be in love with the outcome. If the outcome's not exactly what you were hoping for, don't get all depressed that it's not exactly what you were looking for. Don't be in love with the outcome, because a lot of times it's not exactly what you want it to be. But that's okay. That's part of the process. Even if it doesn't come out perfect, if it doesn't come out or it's a failure, sometimes I celebrate failure. I'm glad it didn't turn out that way, because that's one less way for me to do it. It's just like the inventor of the light bulb. He did 1,000 different ways before finding the right one, and now we know 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
I use Edison all the time. Edison is one of my favorite. 1,000 failures.
Right. Try again, but don't give up. That's all I have to say on that one. But you're right. Very good. I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time to inspire, motivate, and share much needed advice to any entrepreneurs or any future entrepreneurs out there. For your podcast, Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Get Across the Start Line. Tell us once again the date, the time, and how others can go and check it out.
Absolutely. So it's released every Tuesday. I have two segments. I have Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Get Across the Start Line, and I also have Business Conversations with Pi, which is I actually talked and have a conversation with an AI about certain aspects of business. So if you want to get to the nitty gritty of the whole thing real quick, that's a really good place to go. You could find me anywhere and everywhere on my Stan store. That's STAN.STORE/Scoob, SKOOB. I had to spell it with a K so I don't get in trouble with Warner Brothers.
Right.
But you can find all my social medias, my website. You could find all my podcasting. It's all right there. It's amazing. Just one-stop shop.
Okay, so if there's an entrepreneur out there listening and going, you know what, I need to talk to this guy. Are you accepting requests for guests, or can they, message you to be on your show?
Yeah, if you want to email, it's tuepodcast.net. Oh, my brain stopped. Sorry.
I love
That
testing
happens
people
sometimes
like
with me.
that. What is it?
Yeah, no,
now?
it's uepodcast2021@gmail.com. That's my email. You could direct me there. But if you go to Stan Store, I do have a spot there for coaching. And I do have a spot there if you want to get on my podcast. It's all right there in one spot. Stan.store/Scoob.
Love it. I'll make sure that I share that out as well, because I think that's important. And I know that you've touched someone and have them where they want to better themselves. And this is an avenue where you can better yourself and pick yourself up. Get the road going. Get across the start line.
Get across the start line.
Get across that start line. Well, hey, is there anything that you want to add or say before we go that I perhaps did not ask you?
Make sure that when you do hit one of the hurdles of stop, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, failure, or fear, that you use those as tools. So we go towards those things, not so much away from those things, because we know that on the other side of those things is something great that's waiting for you. Don't let them stop you. Get over that hurdle and see what's on the other side.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, I thank you. I appreciate you being on the show. We look forward to continued success in all that you're doing. And we also look forward down the line to having you back on the Queen Silvy Show. So I appreciate you taking the time. Go out and make the best of your day. That's what I tell everyone to do. So please go out and make the best of your day. Until we meet again, I really appreciate you, Jesse, for being on the Queen Silvy Show.
Thank you very much.
I love it. I'm sorry.
And I'll tune in. We'll see you.
All right. All righty.
Thanks
We'll be
again,
right
bud.
back after this
Appreciate
commercial
you.
break.
Hi, I'm Queen Silvy of the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Silvy or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was an awesome
Thank you,
conversation
Jesse.
with Jesse Blount, if I said that correctly.
Blount, yep.
Doing some fantastic things, making a worldwide difference. There are so many people out here who is confused or who's going through all the doubt of failure, who wants to try to take that first step
So you're bettering yourself.
to get across that line.
There's
you
so
know?
many different ways out there that, an entrepreneur is so inclusive to me. There's so many avenues of people to be able to make some money nowadays by
Right on.
marketing themselves correctly and or their products.
Well, some people, I've known high professionals in the field. It's been decades working for a company, but they get tired of making that company money. They want to make it their own and
Put it
get
in
out
your
and
own
start
pocket
their
for a
own
minute.
thing.
Yeah.
And hats off for everyone who is making that move as well. Jesse's podcast, Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Get across the line. It's every other Tuesday. You can go and follow Jesse, and we're going to post some connections for him, for his websites, for any coaching, any questions, all of his podcast information as well. We're going to post that as well. So click it and get yourself set up, or even pass the word around for someone else. It's very important especially these days, to make do and to put yourself in the runner's seat, the driver's seat, first place, a priority, whatever word fits.
Try to keep a
Get
step
out there
ahead
and
at least,
soar.
whichever way you want to put it, I guess, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We thank you so much. And hey, by the way, did you know that tomorrow's Wednesday? Ooh, some people don't even know. They like, well, oh, girl, I thought it was. Yes, tomorrow is Wednesday, and that is Tim's Tidbits. I'm telling you, Tim.
What a hectic week we've had, and we'll talk about
It's
it.
been busy. We are
well.
always busy, but we always bring the best in live entertainment, talents, topics, and resources from around the world just for you. And it continues tomorrow with Tim's Tidbits. That is in the evening, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do check your time zones. Tim, anything you want to say about this week's segment?
Hey, I'm just trying to strap in and hang on. That's all I can say. It's an amazing, amazing world we live in today.
And he's sharing it all with you. And also the asshole of the week. You don't know who that is, but tune in to find out who's the asshole of the week. Sometimes there's
Could
more
be a
than one.
duel, yeah. You never know. There's all kinds of competition out there.
Absolutely. But then that doesn't stop, because then you can come back on Thursday. What? For the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim, where we bring you inspirational, encouraging. I'm going to summer it up and say it's actually a
Potpourri of potpourri of entertainment.
That's right. Potpourri of entertainment, all coming from the heart, just for you, from some great kings and queens all over. And we also have the Now You Know Show question of the week, where my good friends, my good kings and queens, video in their answer to the show question of the week. Then we end the show with a special video showcase that Smooth will provide some clues for throughout the show before we reveal just what that is.
We'll see.
That is also in the evenings. The Now You Know Show on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, do check your time zones, but join us for that. Smooth is going to let you know how you can come aboard and be a guest on the Queen Silvy Show, or how you can come aboard and be a panelist for the Now You Know Show question of the week, or maybe you'd like to start your own segment aboard there, as well as how we can be followed. All that information Smooth is going to provide for you.
Okay, well, to recap, everything is not necessary, but if you'd just like to contact us, we are Googleable, and just drop in The Queen Silvy Show into the search engine, and you can follow us on your favorite platform. But otherwise, if you'd like to catch up on past episodes, scrolling is www.thequeensilvyshow.com. There, you can drop us a message along with your email, and or you could go to the past shows, hover over top any of the other past shows you may want to listen to, and just double click it, and it'll take you right to that video.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really enjoyable site. So while you're on that site, please subscribe. And also, you can go to our YouTube. And that's the same way. Go to our YouTube site, same thing. The Queen Silvy Show. While you're there, please subscribe.
Right.
We got all kinds of content on that. Probably more than we have on our website.
Go binge
Actually,
watch.
yeah, there is probably more on the YouTube site than there is on our website. So either way, go there and enjoy. You can binge on the Queen Silvy Show.
That's right. So much is there in store for you. So do that. Pass the word around if you will. And if you haven't, subscribe. All right.
That's right. If you haven't been to that site, shame on you.
So with that said, Smooth is going to hook a girl up something for lunch, right, boo-boo?
Let's see here. Let me get this advertisement up.
Yeah, you do that. And you think about that while I go in here and get myself prepared to eat. A little something. I've only had a cup of tea.
Sounds really nice.
Yes. Now it's time to have a plate of food.
It's available online. Anyhow, until next week.
So, with that said.
That's right. Same Queen time, same Queen station. Well, holla, folks. Goodbye.
How you doing? This is Troy from Wanda's Weave and Wig Emporium. And this week, we're having our Wacky Weave special. That's right. No matter what color, no matter how long, we keep all our extra extensions and put them into your hair and give you a whack-ass weave. That's right. So it's Wacky Weave Week at Wanda's Wig and Weave Emporium. So you come on in and get your head whacked up. So all your people looking and saying, "Ooh, girl, where'd you get that whack-ass weave?"